welcome to our YouTube channel.
Hello.
And today, after a very long time, I have Her Royal Sweetness, my wife, to do this particular video recording with me. And so I'm glad that you're here today.
I'm glad I'm here too, Mrs. Chris Chukwunyere.
Ah,
Finally.
finally. How
Yeah.
many years did it take to get us? The last video we did was in
think-
2022. The last video
Yes.
we did, recording we did together.
Yes.
That was on
yes.
our anniversary.
Like maybe before.
It was, I think it was our anniversary
Yeah.
or my birthday, but it was one of those days.
Yes.
So
I
it
remember.
was, in 2022. 3 years. 3 years later, we're here.
I'm camera shy.
You look very pretty, by the way. Awesome. So today we are going to talk about money. We'll talk about money. Money is a very important tool to use in marriage. Like they say that romance will be something else without money. And then money makes romance more beautiful. Money makes marriage a lot more fun. And you can actually achieve a lot with money, we have a lot of story around it.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to even start with what was your mindset about money before you got married and after we got married?
Oh my God. I laughed when you said what was my mindset about money, because that question took me back, to my background, and a very quick answer to that would be that money should never run out. I think that's my mindset, is that money should flow like a stream, right? It's something that should never run out. It's an essential resource, and you should never, if it's within your capacity, you must make sure that it never runs out, and it is within your capacity to an extent. And that was my mindset before we met, and I think you saw that, because when we met and after we started dating and we started our relationship, you saw how I was very particular about saving, and how even with the very little that we were earning at the time, we were able to save something substantial before we got married. And because for me, it's like, as it comes in, you can't just spend all of it. So like I said, it shouldn't ever run out. So as it comes in, you should spend, but you must save for the rainy day, so that if for any reason, the source, in quotes, the earthly source runs out or stops coming in, you have something to sustain you or keep you going for a period of time until you have another source. So my mindset, very simply put, is money should never run out.
Yeah. So I laughed because my mindset about money is that we should invest it.
Is that as it comes in,
We
it
should-
should flow out.
We should
come
send
and
it
flow.
on errands. We should invest. We should give. That was the way I was. I thought. Of course, I still think that way. I think that's why we have a good balance between the
Yes.
two of us.
Yes.
Growing up, I didn't really experience having my parents having a lot of money. I think we were even below average. Okay, so we grew up poor, and so I always had that word anytime that I wanted to ask for money, maybe for school, to get stuff for myself, or to even just buy clothes. I always had that voice in my head that my dad would always say, money does not grow from trees. And I was always scared to even ask for anything that has to do with money, because my dad it was looking like he would always just get upset. He wasn't upset because he wanted to really be upset. He was just upset because he didn't have enough to be able to do the things I wanted. As long as he was able to pay school fees, pay the house rent, and get us to eat, any extra thing you're asking, he will be able to do that, but it would take a while. So I intentionally grew up to tell myself that I'll never be poor. Had big visions, and so I told myself I'll never be poor. I never thought like a poor person. I never, even when we're living back in Ajegunle and, living in a one-room apartment, not even apartment, one room face me, I face you. I never thought poor, like a poor person. My experiences, even out of home, when in school, I never behaved like I was poor. Nobody knew where I was coming from, but the confidence was strong. I knew that I'd never be poor. So that was the mindset I had. And so I thought to myself that the best way to really use money is to invest it, multiply it. So that was the mindset, for me. And then I met you, and you're like, yes, I believe in investment, but we need to save. We need to keep some. Even if we want to invest, don't just take risk anyhow. I'm a risk taker.
I love the things that you're saying right now, because it's prompting what I would like to say next. Especially because you talked a bit about your background and how that influenced or influences still your mindset about money. And I mentioned that my background has an influence, and I'll tell you why, because I didn't. But please go on.
Yeah. So, just that thought of I'm the person who wants to do quickly. So I'm not afraid of taking risk. I believe you can fail forward. Yeah. It's money. It's not life.
I'm so risk averse.
It's money. It's not, we are not losing our life, but just the highest that you would experience is that you lost the money, but you've gained experience. So for me, that was, what I thought. So maybe you could talk about your background and how it influenced your mindset about money.
Yes, and this is not just true for the two of us. It's true for everyone. Our backgrounds influence almost everything. The way that we grow up, that thing about nature versus nurture influences who we grow up to become and the mindsets that we develop. And, how for you talk about the kind of household that you grew up in. For me, I grew up in I would say middle-class family. My mom was a banker, and I think she rose to become a bank manager. My dad is a retired engineer. He worked with Philips when Philips was still in Nigeria. My mom worked with Union Bank. And so, but then there came a time when she had to retire. There came a time when Philips left Nigeria. And so we went from, we weren't affluent. Like I said, we're middle class, but we had enough, And so we went from having enough money to periods of struggle. My mom was a businesswoman as well. So even after she retired, she had a business, but it wasn't abundance like we had before. So we went from abundance to just getting by.
Yeah.
And seeing that, for me, it was like, I don't want to ever be in a situation like this. And you would see it, you saw it, where it's like, we can't ever find ourselves in a place where, we don't have money, and we have children, and we have to, live and sustain ourselves. And so that experience had an impact on my mindset as to making sure that you do not go from a period of abundance to a period of struggle. It has to be from abundance to abundance. But that also is so important, because when you know the mindset that you have and the background that you have, that being with there's so many things that encompass being with the right person, of course, but the balance that we both bring into the table, because alone by myself, my mindset is just half. It's like 50%, right? It's not going to get me there. It's just going to keep me getting by. But bringing the balance of your mindset is like, okay, before we can invest, we first have to save, right? So if money comes in and we spend, we're not going to, be financially, we're not going to get to a place of financial freedom, so to speak. So you being the risk taker and me being I don't want to say even though I said I'm risk averse, I'm not completely averse. I'm just a moderate risk taker. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but I'm not very quick to take high risks. Maybe
safe risks.
Safe risks, very calculated risks, but we bring that balance. I for example, I would say we must have enough to, if anything happens now, we have enough to keep us sustain us for the next 6 months, knowing that before 6 months is over, something else will come in. If we have that, so I always try to make sure that we have a rainy day account where, okay, this money is safe and secure. And once we have that target, then we can invest whatever comes after that. So
so let's talk about merging money. First, let's talk about what we believe in. Okay, so there is the saying that my money is my money, your money is your money. And there is the one that my money is our money, but your money is your money as a lady. And then there is the one that my money is our money, your money is our money. So what do you think about it? Where are we in this mindset?
Okay. So there are many mindsets about this. There are many schools of thought. There are many ways in which people think, but there's also, we call it the best practice. There's the best practice. We believe in the two shall become one. And before I go further, I just want to, add a caveat that, first of all, marry the right person. Because if you have married the right person, the bone of your bone and the flesh of your flesh, then you will work together and the two shall truly become one, and there will be no division, right? If you marry the wrong person, it might be difficult to apply this best practice of the two shall become one, and the two shall operate as one unit. So because we believe in, the two shall become one, we operate as one unit. We're not two separate individuals in this context, not that, but we are one unit, one system. The two of us have one direction. It's unidirectional where we are going. The plans, the goals, the targets, we're working together in lockstep. So there is no, in terms of the direction or the destination, we are aligned. Can we have different thoughts and perspectives and opinions? And of course, we already talked about that. We do, but always. The goal is common to us. And so we don't operate as Chrissy's money is Chrissy's money and Shola's money is no. We operate as one unit. So everything that comes in is our money, right? There have been times in our lives where one person earned more than the other, and vice versa. Well, where you earned more, where I earned more. So it was never, and it has never been, Shola's money or Chrissy's money. It has always been our money. So what are we going to do with this money? Okay, this is what, we always say, okay, babe, how much do we have now? How much do we have now? Because, I'm the saver, right? So whatever comes into your account every month goes somewhere. Like you literally hand it over to me, because from, before we got married, we had an understanding of our strengths and weaknesses when it comes to money, and identified who the person to manage the finances in terms of making sure that we have savings and all of that. And you recognized that strength in me in the same way I recognize the strength of, if you leave me, we'll only be saving. But the person who would make sure that, okay, we multiply the money and take risks to multiply the money, being you. And so even with that, we still work together as one unit.
Yeah.
So there's, for us, and this is the best practice, because when you do that, you will find that you will make more progress. You will make progress. You will make progress.
Yeah.
And that's why I said marry the right person, so that if you're working together as one, you don't have visions or goals that I'm not aware of when it comes to money, that you're not going to take the money and take certain risk or do certain things without my knowledge. Same thing for me. I'm not going to take money that we are saving for a particular thing and use it to
buy Gucci bag.
to do something. I don't want to say something irresponsible, but something outside of what we have agreed to.
Yeah.
So there's always that agreement, because we're working in. When we're saving, we have targets. We do our monthly budgets together. I have to account to you, how we are spending, and all of that. If we agree on a particular investment, you take, and you're such a good record taker. You take records and you give account to me, but we're working together.
Yeah.
That is the best practice. If you do that as a couple and as a family, you'll be amazed at how, not just the blessings, because there's a blessing that comes with operating this way, but how far the two of you will go, as a couple and as a family.
Yeah, that's really very important. I've seen several research that shows that couples that put their money together as one, they make financial progress quicker, faster, and they become more successful as compared to relationships where you have just one person who is the primary provider. I've also seen a lot of young people. In fact, there was a poll that was done online, and a lot of young men who are like in their 30s who got married early, most of them were complaining, or they were expressing regrets to say that they probably wouldn't have married that early because they are still struggling financially. And most of them who said that were men who were the primary providers. Their spouses, their money were their own money. So, but then the men, their money was, so they didn't share the burden, and they didn't have good financial structure. And so the guys were still not at the place where they really wanted to be financially because of all of the investments in the family, and it's not helping them grow. There's something beautiful about a double household income. Of course, not everybody would have that luxury to do that, but if you do, it's important to understand that best practice would be both of us. If we are two and we are one, two becoming one, you can't say you are two becoming one in every other area apart from your finances. Like you said, one thing is important: marry someone who agrees with you, who shares similar value when it comes to money, because a lot of women decide not to bring their money to the table, not because they didn't want to, but because the need of a woman is also security, and a part of that security is financial security. A woman wants to feel secure. So if she brings the money and the man doesn't utilize it well, or doesn't lead the household financially well, she's going to be scared. She will feel insecure. She won't trust him. So because of that, she may want to keep, just in case there's not enough money, our kids will not, at least have some savings where we can use to still pay school fees. So a lot of irresponsibility or lack of skill in managing finance or leading financially at home have made a lot of women to keep money to themselves, their own money to themselves, and to say, at least most times women always still spend the money at home. But at least that financial security is important. They need to feel secure. So best practice requires that both people operate as one, and they also submit to each other. And that's one thing that I also want to share is submission. Um, Submission is not the woman submitting to the man and the man being the authority figure. Yeah, he's the leader at home. He's supposed to lead because it's even a need of a woman that her man leads, but leads effectively. Okay, but then submission is a two-way thing. We submit to each other based on each other's strength and weaknesses. Okay, so we consider that I am the guy who would want to take risk, who want to invest quickly, who would give as much as people are coming to ask for help, and I would want to give and all of that. And but then if I operate unilaterally from that end, I will never be financially successful because I definitely would not make calculated risk without discussing with you. Of course, there are some I've seen several cases where we want to make investments and you're like, calm down, let me use my spiritual feminine instincts to look at this. And by the time you're
and
done,
my strategic brain too.
of course, and by the time we are done, you find out that okay, this is not a good place to invest. So that's why we need each other. So by myself, we probably would be falling short because I could just not use the money well. But because we are balanced in that area, I can submit to you to lead the area of managing our finance. In the sense that, okay, in this area, you are the one who saves, who would keep, who would, give accounts, who would ensure that everything we need at home is provided for, and then you can allocate the right resources for each of them, and then I can submit to you in that direction. And then you can also submit to me in the area of my ability to identify opportunities, identify investment areas, and then of course submit in the area of ability to multiply money and all of that. So that way you submit to me in this area, we are better as one unit. So that's really very important for people, because the problem with finance and money in marriages is that a lot of people is a dominion and control thing. So you have people who want to dominate, you have people who want to control. And when control and domination is a critical factor or a fundamental aspect of managing finance, most of the times is a problem, because one person is dominating, controlling, the other is subservient or not controlling, and so that person is feeling resentment. The person is not bringing their best to the table to even advise, because you are controlling and dominating. If I insist that we must, or for instance, I'm controlling and dominating the conversations around money. If I insist on we must invest in this, invest in that, at some point you just keep quiet, and I will invest and fall inside pit. So that control and domination thing is a critical thing that a lot of couples will have to, put aside, and work as a team.
What you just said so easily and effortlessly is such a big deal and a critical factor in the success or the financial success of every marriage.
Yeah.
You see what you said about the submission and the leadership of the man, the woman feeling secure, the control and the domination and all of that. Those are the realities of many people in marriages. So I hope that when people hear this, they can think and reflect on how they operate in their home, and even where their own strengths and weaknesses are, where they have fallen short in terms of leading, in terms of submitting where it is necessary, where it is appropriate, and understanding that the two must operate as one unit, where they have fallen short, because you can make mistakes and then come to a realization and go back to the drawing board and fix things. It is so important that a man and a woman or a husband and a wife in a family unit recognize these things. If you've been doing things a certain way before, come together, have conversations about, have discussions about money. Identify your strengths and your weaknesses. Make sure that you have a clear destination. What is our financial goal for this family? Recognize that your wife or your husband is your partner, your business partner even, and do it right. Do it right. Just the way that it's so important, and knowing that you can submit to one another, not just to one person. I'm just reiterating what because it's so powerful what you just said.
In one of the videos that I did, we had to talk about the marriage mindset. And one of the things we talked about was the fact that you have to see marriage as a partnership. It's a teamwork. And one thing I believe about teamwork and partnership is that it helps to multiply things. And things easily grow when there's partnership, including money. So one other thing that I would like us to talk about is having conflicts, even when we about money.